Jai Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om. I'll just recite the prayers now. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagan Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijanasahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamam bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter number 27, text number 28. Sorry, 28, text number, one second. 4. Yeah, 4. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapashaucham. Brahmacharyam Tapashaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavadartha Parigraha. Yavadartha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavadartha Parigraha. Yavadartha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Ahimsa Satyamasteyam. Yavat Artha Parigraha. Yavad Artha Parigraha. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Brahmacharyam Tapasaucham. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam. Swadhyaya Purusharchanam.
Ahimsa satyamasteyam.
Ahimsa satyamasteyam.
Yavadata parigraha.
Yavadartha parigraha.
Brahmacharyam tapasucham.
Brahmacharyam tapasaucham.
Svadhyaya purusha charanam.
Sadhyaya purusharchanam. Mataji. Ahimsa satyamasteyam. Yavadartha parigraha. Brahmacharyam tapasaucham. Swadhyaya purusharchanam. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopi Jagan Vallabha Padmi Gauri Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, refraining from theft. Yavad artha, as much as necessary. Parigraha, possessing. Brahmacharyam, celibacy. Tapa, austerity. Saucham, cleanliness. Swa adhyayaha, study of the Vedas. Purusha archanam, worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. One should practice non-violence and truthfulness, should avoid thieving and be satisfied with possessing as much as he needs for his maintenance. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity, be clean, study the Vedas, and worship the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport: the word Purusharchanam in this verse means worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, especially the form of Lord Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by Arjun that Krishna is the original Purusha or personality of Godhead, Purusham Shashvatam. Therefore, in yoga practice, one not only must concentrate his mind on the person of Krishna, but must also worship the form or deity of Krishna daily. A brahmachari practices celibacy, controlling his sex life. One cannot enjoy unrestricted sex life and practice yoga. This is rascaldom. So-called yogis advertise that one can go on enjoying as one likes and simultaneously become a yogi, but this is totally unauthorized. It is very clearly explained here that one must observe celibacy. Brahmacharya means that one leads his life simply in relationship with Brahman or in full Krishna consciousness. Those who are too addicted to sex life cannot observe the regulations and which will lead them to Krishna consciousness. Sex life should be restricted to persons who are married. A person whose sex life is restricted in marriage is also called a brahmachari. The word asteyam is also very important for a yogi. Asteyam means to refrain from theft. In the broader sense, everyone who accumulates more than he needs is a thief. According to spiritual communism, one cannot possess more than he needs for his personal maintenance. That is the law of nature. Anyone who accumulates more money or more possessions than he needs is called a thief. And one who simply accumulates wealth without spending for sacrifice or for worship of the personality of Godhead is a great thief. Swadhyayaha means reading the authorized Vedic scriptures. Even if one is not Krishna conscious and is practicing the yoga system, he must read standard Vedic literatures in order to understand. Performance of yoga alone is not sufficient. Narottam Das Thakur, a great devotee and acharya in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, says that all spiritual activities should be understood from three sources, namely saintly persons, standard scriptures, and the spiritual master. These three guides are very important for progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master prescribes standard literature for the prosecution of the yoga of devotional service, and he himself speaks only from scriptural reference. Therefore, reading standard scriptures is necessary for executing yoga. Practicing yoga without reading the standard literatures is simply a waste of time. Again, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So I have no qualification to speak, but I am just trying to serve all of you, hoping that I can advance in my Krishna consciousness. So again, the translation: one should practice non-violence and truthfulness, should avoid thieving, and be satisfied with possessing as much as he needs for his maintenance. He should abstain from sex life, perform austerity, be clean, study the Vedas, and perform the supreme form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, um, it's a very wonderful purport, needless to say. Um, so, first, Prabhupada speaks about the importance of the form Krishna. So, one thing I want to say about Krishna, which is very important for us to understand, uh, something about the quality of Krishna, because there are 4 platforms of devotional service. There is devotional service on the platform of fear, devotional service on the platform of duty, and devotional service on the platform of love. So, of course, we know that devotional service on the platform of love can only be executed on the liberated platform, no doubt. But at the same time, Prabhupada wanted us to serve Krishna with love. Never we will find that Prabhupada said to serve Krishna out of fear or out of duty. Never. You see, everywhere Prabhupada said that you must serve Krishna out of love. When someone asked Prabhupada, what pleases you the most? Prabhupada said, love Krishna, love Krishna, love Krishna, love Krishna. So, although we may not be qualified, but because a pure devotee has instructed us to do that, we can follow his instruction and we'll get a lot of mercy. So, why is Krishna so special? Krishna is so special because Krishna has some very, very unique qualities. The first quality of Krishna is that Krishna makes the living entity feel that he really, really loves that person. Like, that's one very special thing about Krishna and Krishna's pure devotees. You see, anyone in this world, how much can we actually feel that that person actually loves us? Maybe sometime, for some time, due to some reason, and then it's gone. You always feel there is some superficiality, there is some shallowness, there is some duplicity in that love. It's not pure, it's not causeless, right? But Krishna's love is causeless. It's causeless. And Krishna's love, that's why, is expressed in so many wonderful ways. Krishna's love is expressed in so many ways. Krishna's love is expressed to us in the form of Krishna's devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam, the temple, the prasadam, the holy places. So Krishna's love for us is expressed to us in so many ways. Normally in this world, how many ways can a person express love to us? So Krishna's love for the living entity is very special because Krishna's love is causeless, Krishna's love is continuous, and at the same time, Krishna's love has no end. And yeah, another very special aspect of Krishna's love is Krishna makes the living entity feel like Krishna is only loving that person. So only Krishna can make someone feel like this, that Krishna's full attention is on that person. With Krishna, we don't get that feeling that, oh, I have to wait in a line, I have to get an appointment. No, we can feel Krishna's affection, Krishna's mercy right now, immediately. Everyone can feel that. So that is one very special aspect about Krishna. Second special aspect about Krishna is that Krishna never sees fault. Actually, Krishna never sees fault. Krishna only sees good. That is Krishna's quality. Krishna's Adoshadarshi, and so are Krishna's devotees. Of course, Krishna may want us to improve, and devotees may want us to improve. So therefore, they may chastise us, they may correct us, but actually they don't see fault. And the third aspect of Krishna is the most grateful person. In fact, Krishna feels so indebted, like His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj was saying, that if you just go in front of the deity of Krishna and you stand in front of Krishna, fold your hands, and you have no specific desire to worship Krishna or to serve Krishna, but you just stand in front of Krishna with your hands folded, Krishna thinks to himself, oh, this person has so much love for me. What can I do for him? What can I do for him? So this is Krishna's nature, right? Krishna is the most simple person. To perform devotional service is actually the most simple thing. But why is it so difficult? Is because, speaking to myself, I am not simple. I am not simple. I am so complicated. I am so duplicitous. That's why it's very difficult. But devotional service is the simplest thing. Like Prabhupada said, what did Prabhupada say? Prabhupada said that one devotee, one lady, elderly lady, she used to bring water from Yamuna every day and offer to Radha Damodar. And it's not that she would bring a silver plate and all this complicated worship, and no, she just brought in a cup and put outside the altar. That's it. And Prabhupada said every day Krishna accepted that. Krishna accepted that. So this is simplicity. Simplicity. Putting unflinching faith with eagerness, with eagerness that, oh, Krishna is going to drink this, Krishna is going to accept this, so let me offer it to Krishna for Krishna's happiness. It's very simple. And if we can just maintain this simplicity, we can attain a lot of progress in bhakti, lot of progress in bhakti. Like there is one pastime also, that one devotee, he, on the order of his spiritual master, he just went to uh, graze the cows, to take care of the cows. And one day someone told him that uh, Krishna is here. Right now, Krishna and Balaram, they are here. So, oh, Krishna is here. He became uh, so enchanted, and he started crying for Krishna. He started searching for Krishna. Like as if Krishna is somewhere, he started searching, is crying for Krishna. And in this way, he spent many years, many years. And of course, I won't go into the detail, but finally he saw Krishna. So this is simplicity required. When you are very simple, then you can actually love Krishna. You can actually feel Krishna. When we become crooked, when we become duplicitous, then it's not possible for us to put faith. It's not possible for us to put faith, and we start seeing fault, and we start so many problems. So simplicity is very important. Anyway, so Prabhupada is speaking about, so this is some qualities of Krishna, which is very special. And we can always meditate on these qualities and encourage ourselves that we should do, and we should sacrifice more and more for the pleasure of Krishna. So first, Prabhupada is speaking the purport about deity worship. So deity worship actually means bandhanam, offering prayers. Like if you go to Radha Damodar temple, Srila Prabhupada, there is a, there is a quote of Srila Prabhupada where Prabhupada is saying that Radha Damodar are my life and soul. By their mercy, may I attain perfection. So this, you see Prabhupada's attachment. So why is it Krishna is everywhere, but why is it that Krishna is specifically in the temple? Krishna is specifically in the temple because um, Krishna wants us to develop attachment towards him. And that's why Krishna specifically manifests in the form of the deity. So deity worship is not just about just worshipping, but it's ultimately about making the pleasure of the deity one's main consideration in life. And the best aspect of deity worship is actually to offer prayers. That's what we're doing in front of the deity. What is Samsara Dava? What is nourishing a prayer? Tulsi prayer. Even the holy name is a prayer. And then, so all prayers, we're doing prayers from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's all prayers. Bhagavatam is also prayer. So there are three kind of prayers. First prayer is called Dainya Bodhika, means to humbly submit oneself, submitting oneself. Second one is Samprarthanarmika, means feeling, very feelingly offering prayers. And third one is Lalasa Mai, desiring some perfectional stage. So, of course, naturally, most of the time, the prayers will be to Dainya Bodhika prayers, where we'll humbly submit ourselves. Like we approach Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Patita Pavan, and that's natural, and we should do that. But at the same time, we should also consider this point, that what prayers does Krishna like to hear? That's very important. Of course, we may not be on that stage, but what prayers does Krishna like to hear? What does Krishna like? If we just go in front of Krishna and keep speaking about ourselves, our problems, everything all the time, then will that please Krishna? Or will it please Krishna to hear the prayers, to hear the songs, to hear the quotes or whatever of his pure devotees? So that's what will really please Krishna. So that's why we sing Vaishnav song. We sing Vaishnav songs because those Vaishnavas are eternally liberated souls. They are very dear to Krishna. So when we sing those prayers, then Krishna become very pleased. So that's why we sing those prayers, we sing those songs. So of course, we cannot probably, we don't, I mean, speak for myself, I don't have the adhikar to sing songs, especially in Lal Samai platform. But what we must do is we must hear the Lal Samai prayers from the mouth of pure devotees. Like, of course, I may not be qualified to sing Radha Krishna Pranamur, but we must hear Radha Krishna Pranamur from the mouth of pure devotees in our movement. That's very important. And the reason why we must hear is because when we hear these songs from the mouth of pure devotees, their pure service attitude and the pure attachment will become transferred to our heart. And as a result of that, we will get a lot of eagerness to make progress in our devotional service. So, of course, one type of conception is that, well, I'm not qualified, so let me stay away. And that's good. That's natural. But another type of conception, in addition to this conception, is why am I not qualified? Why? Why can't I do it? Why can't I do it? What is lacking? The goal is so attractive. The goal is so enchanting. Why can't I do it? So this kind of mood comes when hearing from pure devotees. When you hear from pure devotees and you see their consciousness, you see their expression, you see how much they relish in Krishna consciousness, you become enchanted and you become inspired that I should do whatever I can to convince Krishna, to convince Guru that I want this, I want this. So that comes by hearing the songs of pure devotees, the expressions of pure devotees. Like the other day, I was just hearing a question to Srila Prabhupada. So someone asked Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, how many lifetimes, how much time does it take to surrender to Krishna? Prabhupada said 1 minute, 1 minute. And of course, I heard this many times, but when I saw that, my consciousness completely changed. Prabhupada, you can see he has tears in his eyes. And he has basically his love for Krishna is completely pouring out. Like, and he's so amazing. Like the way Prabhupada is speaking to that person, you can feel that Prabhupada is speaking to that person individually, telling that person that is individually telling that person. You can feel Prabhupada is telling that person, see, Krishna loves you so much. Why can't you surrender now? Surrender immediately. So that surrender that Prabhupada is inspiring is out of love. So that's why pure devotees are very, very special, very special. So by hearing them offering such prayers, impressions come in the heart of their prayers, of their mood, and that makes us very, very enthusiastic. So I'm just reading this from Nectar of Instructions, very, very attractive. In other words, one should learn how to cry for the Lord. One should actually learn this small technique, and he should be very eager and actually cry to become engaged in some particular type of service. This is called laulyam, and such tears are the price for the highest perfection. If one develops this laulia or excessive eagerness for meeting and serving the Lord in a particular way, that is the price to enter into the kingdom of God. Otherwise, there is no material calculation for the value of the ticket by which one can enter the kingdom of God. The only price for such entrance is called laulia lalasamai, or desire and great eagerness. So, of course, we may think that this is very high, and it is very high, but the purpose of deity worship is to develop this kind of mood. Like we have the opportunity to address the deities, we have the opportunity to serve the deities. So, or even performing kirtan for the deities. These are all very intimate services, like we know in the spiritual world that the gopis, they perform kirtan for the pleasure of Radha and Krishna. It's a very intimate service. So, of course, performing the service is important, but to be very eager and to pray from the core of the heart that one day, like right now I am serving Krishna, I'm dressing Krishna. It's natural for a devotee to feel that when the day will come that I will actually see Krishna, I will actually dress Krishna, I'll actually see the deity, I will actually talk with the deity. It's natural, because when you associate with pure devotees like Srila Prabhupada, we heard so many times how Prabhupada is talking with the deities, how Prabhupada is such intimate exchange with the deities. Naturally, when we associate with him, naturally we also get such desires. So this eagerness, this great eagerness, uh, um, is a great help in our Krishna consciousness. Like that's why Prabhupada made spontaneous devotion very practical. How did Prabhupada define spontaneous devotion? Prabhupada spontaneous devotion means, Prabhupada gave an example that suppose tomorrow morning someone has to offer Mangalarti. Prabhupada says, he says, oh, when the time will come when I will offer Mangalarti to my Lord. Simple, very simple, right? So we have many services, we're doing many services, whatever it may be, making garlands, doing kirtan, any service, even washing the pots. We can develop eagerness, we can develop great eagerness to do any of those services, and that is the ticket to enter the kingdom of God. So it's like a conscious cultivation. Krishna conscious is a cultivation. So as we constantly cultivate this eagerness and we try to implement, try to insert this eagerness in every service that we do, then uh, eventually we will get the qualification to think of Krishna, to cry for Krishna. So crying for Krishna will only happen when we become very attracted to serving Krishna. First, we have to become very attracted to serving Krishna. Then only we can cry for Krishna. First, we become attracted to serving Krishna, to experiencing Krishna in the angas of bhakti. And then eventually, by the mercy of those angas of devotional service, we can actually cry for Krishna. So, and that's why that's the purpose of the pastimes. Like Narottam Das Thakur is saying, when will that opportune moment come to us when there will be shivering of the body as soon as we chant Lord Gauranga's name? While chanting Hare Krishna, when will there be tears in the eyes? So, there's a wonderful pastime of how one Mayavadi sannyasi, he saw, is in Jaivadharma, he saw a Vaishnav, Gaudiya Vaishnav, was rolling on the ground in ecstasy and chanting the names of Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. And but just by seeing that, he became a great devotee, great devotee. And then the next verse, when will I obtain the mercy of Lord Nityananda Chandra? When by his mercy will the desire for material enjoyment become very insignificant? So the pastime is there of how Raghunath Das Goswami served Nityananda Prabhu. And by serving Nityananda Prabhu, he got direct entrance to Mahaprabhu's intimate entourage in Puri. So, yeah, actually, this is one thing about Vaishnav Seva. Anything else may not work. Our sadhana may not work. Our seva may not work. So many things may not work. But serving devotees works for sure. There's no doubt about it. So that's something we can always take shelter of, and we can always aspire in our heart for every interaction with a Vaishnav to be actually Vaishnav Seva. You can encourage a Vaishnav, you can serve a Vaishnav, you can speak about Krishna to a Vaishnav. It's all Vaishnav Seva. So Vaishnav Seva means to please a devotee. So when you please a devotee, you get a devotee's blessings, and by the grace of a devotee's blessings, we get Nam Ruchi. So it's very powerful. So that's about deity worship. Sorry, it was a little long. Then about sex life. So Prabhupada is speaking about sex life. So what is very important about avoiding this desire, which is the chain that binds the conditioned soul to this material world, is why should I avoid sex life? What is the purpose? Because if your purpose is not strong, how much ever philosophy you may hear, it's of no use. So what did Mahaprabhu tell to Raghunath Das Goswami? He told Raghunath Das Goswami that do not expect honor, but offer all respect to others. Always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna, and within your mind, render service to Radha and Krishna and Vrindavan. So this is our aspiration. This is our aspiration. And on the basis of this aspiration, we can avoid this most dangerous bondage. So unless that the goal is very clear, and unless you're very inspired by the goal, the means becomes very difficult. So what is very important is to engage in the service of Krishna. That's the most important thing. Like today I was reading that how Prabhupada is saying that working for the pleasure of Krishna is very, very important, is very, very important. Ultimately, the goal of any Varna, any ashram is to serve Krishna. The Varna and ashram system is just a setup, it's just like a shell. But the real thing is to serve Krishna. The real thing is to serve Krishna. So, of course, Prabhupada has given in our society that how we should be very careful in our interaction with the opposite sex. And Prabhupada said that by being very careful, this fosters respect. It helps us to see the opposite sex as actually a spirit soul, a part and parcel of Krishna. So yeah, that is very, very important, very, very important in our movement. And that actually helps us to also develop deep intensity in our spiritual life. And that's why you see in the character of all the acharyas. And of course, there's subtle and gross. And subtle is name and fame. So yeah, we have to be very, very careful, very, very careful if we want to make progress in bhakti. So like Prabhupada said that progress in bhakti is like a razor's edge. So yeah, we should be very, very careful. And then Prabhupada is speaking about refraining from theft. So of course, this is a very important point that we have to use all the Lakshmi that we have to please Krishna. Right? Any Lakshmi that is used to please our senses causes a lot of suffering and distracts us from our spiritual advancement. So yeah, we have to be very, very careful. And how we can do that is once we have it set up, like how much money is needed for what, we can have a plan. Okay, this much money I'll spend for this, much money I'll spend for that, and this much money I will spend for Krishna, specifically for Krishna, or for Krishna's service, for Guru service. So in that way, by being very calculative and being very careful, then we avoid wasting money, or we avoid spending money in sense gratification. And you see, like Krishna helps us. Krishna really helps us because Krishna wants us to be happy. Krishna wants us to be joyful. When we engage in sense gratification, then we get so much suffering as a devotee, isn't it? If we spend some money and go to some Disneyland or something, then the next few days our japa is ruined. Our japa is ruined. We become attached to unnecessary things and we go through suffering. We go through suffering. So Krishna arranges so that we can always be engaged in his service. Can always be engaged in his service. And then Prabhupada speaks about Swadhyaya. So Prabhupada says it's very important to understand the process, understand from three different persons. Saintly persons, standard scriptures, and spiritual master. These three guides are very important for progress in spiritual life. So first, saintly persons, right? So hearing regularly from saints who are deeply practicing bhakti is very, very important. Is very, very important because their consciousness is very deep and very, very inspiring. Very, very inspiring. So that's why we have to hear regularly in person from exalted souls. Like yesterday, I was hearing Brahmachari class from Prabhuji Glusha Prabhu, and I was like, wow, what a consciousness. I mean, I was so touched by his consciousness. I mean, of course, what he was speaking is very important, but his consciousness, I could feel it was so deep, so deep. And so when we hear from the mouth of sincere devotees, exalted devotees, it helps to prevent us from fall downs, from small, going down in bhakti, because Maya is always trying to pull us down. So devotees, they help us, sincere devotees, exalted, they help us to avoid those pitfalls. And most importantly, it gives us an example of what serious sadhana looks like. Because when we don't know what serious sadhana looks like, many times we are complacent. Why? Because we think that we're doing the best. We think we're doing great. But when we see uh, devotees practicing bhakti very seriously and very deeply, then we become alert that, hey, I'm not doing the best I can. I'm not practicing Krishna consciousness properly. So that's why example is very important. Associating with an exemplary example is very, very important. Otherwise, it's just theory, right? So this is very, very important. And so that's why actually the way we respect, the way we honor, the way we receive the association of saints, it decides our progress in bhakti. Um, and then reading scriptures. So reading revealed scriptures, personally, I have to work on this. I really have to work on this. But reading means to study what I'm applying and what I'm not applying, and seeing what I should change. And reading also means to become more and more attracted, deeply attached to Prabhupada's realization, become more attracted to his realization, become more impressed and attracted to his realizations, and also deeply aspiring to follow in his footsteps. This is what reading actually means. Like we say, right, spontaneous devotion means to follow in the footsteps of an eternal associate of Krishna. Prabhupada is an eternal associate of Krishna. So when we read Prabhupada's purports and we try to follow in Prabhupada's footsteps, we become attracted. Then we're actually practicing spontaneous devotion in one sense. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important. And that's why by becoming attached to Srila Prabhupada and pure devotees, we make a lot of progress. We make a lot of progress. And then the third is a spiritual master. So spiritual associating with spiritual master means grasping the mood and devotion of the spiritual master. His mood is the most important thing. Like Prabhupada said so many times, right, that how ISKCON is actually God Leela. And different associates have different moods. So, like for example, Gadadhar Pandit was always very mild and renounced. Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami is very renounced and very deeply internally absorbed in the mood of separation, especially from Srimati Radharani. And Sanatan Goswami was the friend of all, again, was very deeply renounced, and at the same time was very strict with Vaishnava etiquette. So different associates have different mood, and associating means to develop the mood, to develop the mood. So this is what hearing from spiritual master actually means. And one last thing I just wanted to read about the importance of seva, how seva is very, very important, and what it actually means to serve, because it's very, very important. Um, because we are rendering service, our whole life is service. We're rendering service to our parents, our children, etc., etc. But what does service actually mean? Just a moment. Let me see if I can find it. Just a moment, Guruji. Okay. Therefore, we have to engage ourselves in occupational engagements. So occupational engagements that will evoke our divine consciousness. This is possible only by hearing and chanting the divine activities of the Supreme Lord. And any occupational activity which does not help one to achieve attachment for hearing and chanting the transcendental message of Godhead is said herein to be simply a waste of time. So Prabhupada is saying it's just a waste of time. Any occupational engagement which does not increase our enthusiasm for hearing and chanting the glories is simply a waste of time. So even deity worship, when you're performing deity worship and it's not helping us to become attracted to the deity and helping us to become more inspired to actually read, hear, think about the deity, then we're not performing deity worship properly, and any service for that matter. So we have to become attracted to hearing and chanting, and that's why hearing and chanting is very important. Otherwise we cannot really serve, because the service attitude is not proper. So these are some things I had from today's discussion. And now I just want to show a short video of Prabhupada. This is a very short video. It's like, like 1 minute or something. But I just want to show this video because it speaks about how attractive Prabhupada is, how divine Prabhupada is, and how Prabhupada is giving us the opportunity to make spiritual advancement by absorbing his mood. So, 1 second. I'll just share the screen. Yeah, hope everyone can see.
Simply love Krishna. Their love is unending.
Can everyone hear?
Everyone in the
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Vrindavan. This is Jasodama, Nanda Maharaj. They are in paternal affection with Krishna. So, the father and mother love Krishna. The friends love Krishna. The girlfriend, they love Krishna. The tree love Krishna. The water love Krishna. The flower, the cows, the calves, everyone loves Krishna. That is Vrindavan.
So, when we hear Prabhupada, hear pure devotees, it's very attractive, it's very inspiring, and we also aspire for the same kind of perfection. So, yeah. So we'll end here. Anyone has any question or comment? Yeah, I said if service does not inspire us to hear and chant about the glories of Krishna, Prabhupada says, occupational duties, Prabhupada says, is just a waste of time. Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you please repeat?
Any occupational duty which is done, which does not inspire us to hear and chant more about Krishna, is simply a waste of time.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, nobody has any question or comment. We will end here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha pathanam pavanebhyo vaishnavaya ananta koti vaishnavadi ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please forgive me. Dandavat.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.